Alexis Nunes alongside Julien and Nedum Onuoha. We are talking Brazil. The World Cup officially started today for all of the Brazil fans and everyone that's truly excited about this team. That 2-0 win over Serbia. Let's start with Jules, and a convincing one.
Yeah, I thought they played really well. They could have had more goals, of course. They hit the woodwork a few times. On the ball, they at times were really good. The movement was fluid. They created chances. They were maybe a little bit unlucky in certain passes that didn't pay off, but they were also never really put in danger by a very disappointing Serbia team.
That's what I want to go to you on, Nedum, because I know that you did have Serbia going through as well. There was a little bit of hype surrounding the Serbia team, the fact that they do like to go forward when they are allowed to. But you were saying that you don't really see any signs from them that they can make a run.
Going through.
Did you not?
No, I don't
Who
think
did you
so.
have?
Switzerland. No.
Switzerland.
Oh, that's true.
Switzerland. It's always nice when you take a
I think it
good
was
for
Jules
a few
that had
more
it.
days. Yeah, it's always nice. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw the Brazil team. I thought, this team's so attacking that obviously Serbia going to cause them lots of problems. But the way it worked out today, they didn't really do that. I don't think they had a shot on target. And when you look at the sort of players that they have within their team, you're expecting more. Obviously, they've got some players missing. But, that for me, it wasn't just the fact they lost. It was the way in which they lost. And I think for Brazil, I think they ended up with 24, 25 shots, 10 on target. On a different day, that's probably a 4, 5, 6-0 type game. Yeah. So I think that's a little bit of an alarm. But, there's still 2 more games to try and rectify the problem.
Well, let's talk about Brazil's strike force, because we do know exactly how packed they are. And I don't know how many, with all those names on the pitch and the ones coming off of the bench, I don't know how many would have picked Richarlison to get both goals today, especially a nice, filthy, good one too, Jules. How impressed were you by him?
Well, he had 3 touches in the Serbian box and he scored 2 goals. He was very opportunistic on the first one because the keeper saves and then he's there to tap it in. The second one is a lovely, lovely goal. Don't get me wrong, but it's a bad first touch.
Okay.
It's a bad first touch.
Nedum as a baller.
Ooh, no, I understand what he's saying.
The ball goes up. He even has to turn to do this. His hover is a kick.
The first touch is a bad touch, but don't get frustrated. The next bit is simply magical.
Yeah.
That's the point. So it's only little details. True. But the fact is, some people didn't fancy him, but he did a very good job today overall. I think he sort of threatened in behind when he needed to, and he occupied the defenders in there because ultimately it was him versus 3 centre-backs.
Yeah.
And I think that allowed Neymar to have little moments where he got on the ball, got on the half-turn, as was the case for the first goal. And I think to talk about Brazil's attack, they finished with Anthony, Gabriel Jesus, and Martinelli. But they and Rodrigo, and they started with, what was it?
Richarlison,
Neymar,
Vinicius
Junior.
That's not too bad, is it?
I
I imagine they're quite happy with their team.
With that said, I suppose, because Jules is our resident Arsenal expert as well, because now everybody, allegedly, has the debate, Richarlison over Gabriel Jesus. Jesus obviously in some serious fine form and confidence with the way things are going at Arsenal. Do you think he'll get a chance to start?
Maybe. I mean, they're just 2 different profiles, so it depends what Chichi wants them to do. When you play against 3 very solid centre-backs, maybe Richarlison with the physicality, although Gabriel Jesus can get into it as well, but maybe Richarlison to play back to goal and to be a nuisance for those was the right choice. Maybe for the next game it would be Gabriel Jesus, although I think that Richarlison really is the #1 starter, and then Gabriel Jesus is back up. So Gabriel Jesus might start the 3rd game if Brazil are already through. And if that's not the case, then I think Richarlison will keep going, and I think right now Gabriel Jesus only will have the last 20-25 minutes in games like tonight.
Well, all good in the hood for Brazil, but the only bit of concern was Neymar went off, not looking too happy. He did go down. We didn't exactly see how he went down, but there are some pictures now circulating on social media, of course, because you guys don't miss a thing, of him icing his ankle. We saw him putting his shirt over his head. Body language was giving us all the worry already, Jules. What do you think's going on there?
Yeah, I know that body language too well, unfortunately.
Especially at World Cups.
Yeah, and from obviously the 2014, although that was a different injury, but certainly the ones that he had in Paris, whether it was the metatarsal or the ankle before. And I said to Nedum straight away when we saw him down, I said, I can tell you the look on his face. Let's see. I mean, no one knows right now. They will have to go for scans. If he's swollen, the swollen has to go down. I suspect they will go for scans tonight here in Doha, and then a bit more. But he was so looking forward to this. He was so ready. He'd been so good so far this season that if he has to stop now after just 1 game, For Brazil, it would be a disaster. For him, it would be the end of the world.
Well, he's one of Jules's BFFs, so Jules is going to get texting him in a bit. But Nedum, again, we talk about the attacking force that Brazil has. And so, yes, they have options. But this is Neymar we're talking about. This should be a massive worry, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. You know, he's one of the best players in the world, and you want to have people like that within your side. He's the guy who's exceptionally motivated to win this tournament. And, he, you know, sometimes you could be negative and say, oh, he just wants to be the star, but he wants to be the star to win the World Cup for his nation. You know, it's been 20 years since they've last won it, and he's probably felt pain in every single one of those attempts. So it's going to be a shame if he is missing out, because I think you could sort of see he was in trouble because every other Brazilian was happy. They were laughing and joking on the bench, people high-fiving each other. But his face was a bit different, and we associate Neymar with happiness. So to see him like that in that moment where his team's winning and playing as well as they are, you know, definitely is cause for concern.
And at 0-0, when the game was still sort of shut, he was the one that made a bit of magic. Then that led to the Vinicius shot and the first Richarlison goal. And he's really the only one. I mean, others are amazing players, but he's the one that can do that in the center of the pitch and take on 3 defenders.
All right, well, we're crossing our fingers and toes and pretty much everything for you, Neymar. Hopefully there's no serious issue and we can definitely see him back in the next one. But at least for tonight, 2-0 win for Brazil over Serbia. And definitely the Canary Yellow fans and the Green fans, they will be samba dancing all night here in Doha. Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.